Welcome to the 2022 Canadian Motocross Nationals review show brought to you by FXR. Billy Rainford, Greg Poisson here. We're going to go over quickly what happened at round one in Kamloops at Whispering Pines. Greg, going into this, there's lots of hype. I mean, we knew the top two in both classes, I think, is what we were all going to be looking at, and we were not disappointed. It looks like it's going to be a long summer with that going on, but let's have a quick look at both classes and some of the things that stood out for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been to a round one. That's been out west or either, anywhere but Ontario. So I was pretty excited going into it. The unknown is always nice to have, and the hype behind it all.
Opening night.
Yeah, we had multiple winners or potential winners, and it's just nice to go out there and get it done. And the weather was kind of a factor too, so that kind of added something to it, and we didn't know what it was going to be like. We're supposed to be in a desert. We got more rain, I guess, this weekend than you do all year. So
of course it's Monday and it's sunny.
Yeah, of course. we had a race on Sunday. It's going to rain on Sunday, so.
All right, well, let's just go over some of the things that kind of stood out to us. Sorry if we missed some of the things that you maybe saw or that we don't mention here, but kind of starting off the list, guys that came out, like I just want to mention Wyatt Kerr. Tough day for Wyatt Kerr. First time coming out west, racing the Nationals as a pro. Had a bit of a tough day himself. Yeah, it's got to be tough, doing that drive out with his dad in the motorhome, and that's an adventure in itself, and it's something new. He's never done it, and then just to really just have bad luck and it's got to be tough on him. So I hope he just realizes round one, it's get it out of the way, first year pro, and just rebound and do the rest of the rounds and kind of like leave this one in the dust, because I mean, you got this qualified round one or first moto. Bench shifter, went back to the pitch, came back out. It's a no-no.
Yeah, and it's it's under. He didn't know that. Maybe he didn't know that. I'm sure he didn't do that on purpose and expect to be okay with it. So anyways, but first round jitters just going to happen. Let's move on.
All right, moving up the list here. A bit of a tough day for Julian Benick. Unfortunately, he was battling up there in the top 5 to 8.
Yeah, big 5 to 8 guy. Big
battles. Unfortunately, he had a motor started to go. Something went wrong, mechanical. So unfortunately, a DNF in that one. Came back for a solid 8th in the second one. He was 14th overall. So I mean, watch for him to keep improving.
Yeah, I'm sure Julian. He's kind of like I guess he's in his second year being a professional, and he's on the PRMX team. So he's got some good backing. Julian puts his heart. The other Julian, we'll call him, puts his heart and soul into it too. So I'm sure they're going to fix whatever mechanical they had. It's just it is racing. This happens. So he'll bounce back.
Right. And quickly, kind of moving up our way to the top 10 here. Jeremy Mckay, I was impressed with his first moto ride. Went down early, had troubles. Something happened in the start. It went through the mechanics area, had some troubles, got kind of hurt. Yeah,
that was pretty gnarly. That's the word I will use for that. He hooked a hard left into the mechanics area underneath the tents, and I heard he didn't go down from what I saw, but he rode through it, which I mean, and didn't hit anybody, thankfully, because everyone was kind of a bit further down. But that could have been disastrous, and I'm sure he's happy nothing happened. But he came through like a freight train after that, which was impressive to see.
From pretty much last.
Yeah,
the 14th.
Yeah, like he was like way at the back. So yeah, it was good to see, and then just happy he's not hurt.
Right. Yeah, like to see him with a good start going forward. Nice to see him get a good start, kind of go up there and run the pace with those the top guys. Tyler Yates was impressive, I thought, for 11th overall. Zach Eufemzef looked great in that first moto for a 9th. Marcus Ducey was up there in like 5th place, looking really good, really strong. So congratulations to him, 12-10 for 9th. Dylan Rempel, the youngster there on the Thor Pro Circuit Kawasaki team.
7-7.
7-7.
Yeah, I mean, if that's not consistent, I don't know what is. So that's good for him. And like I said, he looks like he should still be on an 80. So. Yeah, he was pretty young, and he looks to be doing well, so that's good. That's great.
Yeah, and he's out there battling with some of the established pros for sure. Ahead of him, we had Quinn Amiot. Unfortunate first moto. Talk about when was that? Yeah, talk about Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn crashed in the first one. I didn't see the crash. I guess you did.
I didn't see it. It was told to me. No, I looked too late.
He said it was pretty bad, but he's pretty sore, but he seemed to be fine going forward. So he shook it off. I talked to Bennett, and Benny said he's all good. So.
All right, coming up 3rd place in that first moto, Sebastian Racine on the KTM team. Man, he looked really good out there, I thought.
Yeah, he was really solid. I mean, I think nerves got to him too a little bit. He was pushed really hard in that first moto to be up there, and I don't think he expected to be top 3 right off the hop. So, I mean, shout out to him. That's really great, and I'm sure we're going to see him in that top 5 consistently going forward.
For sure. 3-9 for 6th overall for him. Marco Canella, a guy who we definitely think is going to be up there battling for this championship. He went 4-6 for 5th.
Yep.
Tyler Gibbs, an interesting day for Tyler Gibbs, 5-4 for 4th. No friends on a powder day, I guess.
No, Gibby, I mean, I actually have a lot of respect for it, though. You want it, you go for it, and you make it happen. There's a lot of guys, I mean, we all know each other here. whether you're media, mechanics, teams, whatever. And you know, they always say leave your racing on the track, and Tyler definitely does that. You know, because he was sawing guys off and just making moves happen when they needed to happen right away. And he didn't care if it was his friends or you know, random guys. So he was just going for it. And like I said, I have actually a ton of respect for that at the end of the day.
Well, interesting. I went back and looked at some of my photos, and that the second moto start, he and Piccolo came around. Piccolo was on the outside of the first turn, which puts him on the inside. But as he's coming around, Piccolo is looking at him. And I'm not sure what kind of gesture that was, or if he was just kind of seeing who was going to get the whole shot. But as they came into the second turn, Tyler managed to get to the inside on it, and then kind of chopped him off. And Piccolo went dead last to come back through the pack.
Yeah, Gibby just cleaned him out. So, you know, they were cabin mates or buddy. I don't know what they were doing at club, if they were living together or not, but I know they were at club at the same time. But I mean, like I said, no friends on the track. Racing's racing. So.
5-4 for fourth for Tyler. Mitchell Harrison, we got our first look at him up here battling our Canadian guys. Looked really good. Looks like I say he's the kind of guy that's going to just keep getting stronger, I would say, for sure. Yep. He went 6-2 for third place overall.
Yeah, and he kept his visor on for both those motos, I think, so at all times. So that was great, because both practice sessions he had no visor. So I thought that was pretty funny. He had a bit of a bullet head going on, as they call it. Yeah, no, he's going to do well, and I think he's kind of typical of most US guys that come up. They're going to get used to our tracks, used to our series, used to the teams they're on. You know, I know he's with Tyler Medallia, so Tyler's very good at kind of bringing people in and teaching them, you know, the ways of our series, and Tyler's been a staple for so many years. So I think he's got on a great program. He looks like he's got great bikes, and should be fine.
Right now the top two guys that obviously we talked to in our preview show, these are the guys that we think are going to alternate wins and losses with firsts and seconds. Jake Piccolo goes 1-3. Ryder McNabb goes 2-1. First moto, McNabb had to come through the pack. Second moto, Piccolo had to come through the pack. So I mean, I'm not sure. Did we answer any questions there, or is it still, we're not sure? I'm not.
It's tough. You know, it's one of those things where we're gonna have to see maybe more than just one race. But I mean, like obviously Ryder got the nod because he went 2-1, but I would give him the nod in kind of being a bit more consistent throughout the day. Coming through obviously, but he came through, like I like to say, like a freight train, because he was just on fire, and his lap times were unbelievable in that first moto. So we'll see. You know, next weekend's a track that nobody's really been to in Drumheller. So other than Keelan Meston, I hear. So
that's right. Keelan has an advantage going into this one.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm very excited to see how those two work it out.
Right. So 2 points now separate first and second. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. It's gonna be fun all summer long. All right, moving over to the 450 class. Let's talk a bit about that. Afternoon, by the way, yeah, like you said, it rained in the morning, sun came out for our afternoon moto, so that was cool.
Yep.
And then it showed up again afterwards, so a bit of a thing. We'll move up through the, great to see Brock Hoyer. He raced the WCAN during the week, came out there, unfortunately went down hard, 10th in the first moto.
Yeah.
Unfortunately got kind of banged up in the second.
Yeah, I didn't even know who the 121 was in the first moto, because I didn't know Brock was racing. You know, so my fault, but he looked consistent, and I was like, who's this guy? I didn't know, and found out later it was Brock. So you know, shout out to Brock for being a veteran too, and coming out and racing, and still doing top 10s in the 450 class. So
I hope he's all right.
I think I heard he is. Yeah, okay. I heard he is. I didn't see the crash, but I heard it was quite. He's got some cuts or bruises or something on his face. Like, I mean, anytime you have any facial injuries, it's you know, it was a big one. So.
Okay, and right above him, I want to mention him very briefly too. Davey Fraser, strong 9th in the second moto, DNF in the first.
Yeah, that he went off the track right on the start and hit a chicken wire fence or something like that right off the track, and caught his front fender. It looked worse than it was, thankfully, but he was fine. Front fender was going, you know, in some crazy direction. But you know, he's good to go, and he's another guy, you know, another veteran. There's a lot of veterans now in the 450 class that have been around for a long time. So it's good to see Davey still doing it. I don't think he's going to do all of them. I think he's just doing like these West rounds and just having some fun with it. And when Davey's having fun, he rips. So it's great to see.
Okay, now ahead of him, again, 6:28, which was a DNF for Tanner Ward, ended up 13th overall. Looked great, was in a really tight battles, actually in both until he had the troubles, but that 28, that DNF and that second one really kind of cost him. Yeah,
and Tanner was one of those guys where I didn't know where he would fit in the first couple rounds, because 450s are big bikes, and they're powerful, and he's not that he's not strong, but he's not a physically big guy. But he was riding that thing like it was a 250, so it was great to see, and I know he was making some super aggressive moves and passes. I watched a few of them, and I was like, you know, that's really great to see, because he's obviously feeling comfortable. Just mechanical, that's not his fault, and or the teams, it just happens. And good to see that he's starting to feel comfortable, and I think he's just going to get better as the series goes on.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And finishing just ahead of him with a 7:20. That 20 is a bit of an anomaly on the thing. For Felix Lopez, the two-time Mexican champ, we got to look at him. Man, him and your guy, Weston Rosina, went at it, just bar to bar, and then the second one he just started slowing down and had to take a 20th. I'm not really sure what happened.
Yeah, I don't know either. That first moto was something else. It's always good to see moto long battles because they were just going at it the whole time, him and Weston, and it was just good to see because a lot of the times halfway through the motor, as the moto goes on, the pack tends to string out, and they were just at it the whole time. So, I mean, awesome to see, and at any moment they were going at it. So it's good to see that. And Weston, we'll touch on Weston real quick as we get up there because we're talking about it right now. 6th overall, had some stomach issues, nerves too, I think a little bit for him. Held it down for the MX101 team. They had a bit of a rough day with some of their guys. But Weston was super solid, and as KT says, he needs some of that Velcro for the rest of the team to keep him on his bike. So that's a KT joke, not mine. But great to see that too.
All right, and kind of a quiet ride. 15:11 for Yannick Boucher for 11th overall. The number 17 out there ended up by himself quite a bit. I saw, and then finishing ahead of him in 10th, rounding up 3 DNF 30 for Sean Moffenbauer. I mean, we all expected him. This is a track that we know he's going to be fast at for sure. Unfortunately, had that crazy high side crash in the second one. Yeah,
Moff was, the guy, because he, coming into this, because he lives just here in Kamloops. So, I mean, he spent a lot of time on this track. He was kind of guiding the rest of the team and some guys around. Solid third in a battle with T-Dags for a lot of that first moto.
That was good.
Then obviously I had a big crash. I don't know the extent of all the injuries yet. I think it's just shoulder at this point, separated shoulder, but super bummed to see that because he was on fire, and it was kind of like a resurgence in a way because last year didn't go the way he wanted either.
Right. And again, I thought it was number 61, T Parrott there, went 12:10 to round, taking 9th, so good for him in that one. I was also impressed, I didn't know who the 426 number out there on the Yamaha was, going pretty good out there, and he went 13:8, very solid second one. That's Ryan Martin from Washington State, so it's cool to see, always cool to see people come up from Washington. Parker Eels, man, he ended up by himself again. He was starting to close in on that second one with a 7th, so a good ride from him.
Yep.
Be interesting to see if he can get a better start. He's a big kid. Good to see him get a better start, try to run that pace. He always ends up by himself.
Yeah, Parker was completely by himself every time. I actually thought, I didn't know where he was, in the standings because he was just by himself. I didn't know if he'd gone down, he was getting lapped, or whatever the case was, because he was just, there's no one in front of him that he could see, there's no one behind him, and that makes it hard to move forward when you don't have something to chase. So I'm sure he'll do better too, but that's a pretty solid result to take out the first round. For sure. So 7th overall, we mentioned Weston in 6th. I thought it was a great day. Also 5th place, Daniel Elmore from way up in Telco, BC, 9.5. He was up there in 5th place in that second moto, had a great ride. Yeah, Cycle North, Honda rider Daniel Elmore. That was great to see him up there. I know he's had some troubles over the winter with bikes being stolen and stuff like that, but good to see him come back with that 5th, and we'll see how he does going east because I know he's raced them before, but obviously it's any time we're in a rider's home province, they ride these tracks. So from what I understand, Kamloops didn't change a ton other than got pretty technical for pro day, but it's something he's ridden before, so we'll see how he does. But I'm sure we're going to see him inside that top 10 at all times. And in 4th place, we had Chris Blackmer, the late pickup for Steve Sims' team. Looked good. He got to race the WCAN during the week. I was pretty impressed with his riding. Yeah, he was so last minute to that team that they didn't even have preprints done for him. So he was, super last minute, and great guy to talk to. Billy and I talked to. We talked to him on the Friday, I think it was. He's going to fit in well up here. Yeah, super nice kid, super humble, and fast as heck. So I think he's just going to get better too. He's been riding the bike a fair bit. Like you said, he raced WCAN. Little guy, going to get good starts all year. Yeah, little guy. Yeah, he did get some good starts. I think he hole shot that second one. Yeah. And awesome to see him up here. It's good to see the TLD SSR Gas team pick up someone to ride their 450 when Sam Gaynor got hurt. So I think he's going to be a great fit, and he's just going to get better. I say that about a lot of guys, but this is, it's what it's going to be, right? He's going to get more comfortable, get used to our tracks. 19 years old, and I think he's going to be a threat for sure. I'd like to see him on the podium. We'll see what happens. For sure. So he was 5-4 for 4th. Nice. And rounding out the top 3, let's talk about the podium here. Jess Pettis, 5 weeks off of surgery on that wrist, man. He goes 4-3. Looked great. Obviously he just needs to get through these to get that wrist stronger and get back into race shape. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw Jess last night at dinner. He kind of kept himself all weekend, which he actually mentioned to me because we didn't even see each other and he didn't even know I was here. So it was kind of funny. But he showed me a scar on his wrist. It's still very fresh. Like he said, 5 weeks out and he's out there. So he's only ridden a handful of times. You know, he's just going to get better. He's going to get more healed up and be more comfortable on the bike. So, you know, I expect him to kind of bridge that gap from third to second and be up there a bit more as he gets stronger, because he is a contender no matter what. I mean, unfortunate circumstances he's got, but like I said, his scar was fresh and it was bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like it was not a small injury.
Okay. Now the top two, I mean, man, Tyler Medallion held off Dylan Wright for a long time in these motos, goes 2-2 for that second overall. Great, very strong ride from Tyler Medallion. Yeah,
as we joke, you know, in the States I always say Kyle Chisholm, Chiz is going to chiz and stuff like that, where T-Dags is going to T-Dags. The guy just shows up. He's always fit. He's changed his bars 10 times. He's, you know, changed all these settings, and he's, you know, gone from one thing to the other and back to the original setting. I always joke with him about that, but I mean, the guy was just an animal. And it's funny, you hear Moff or Dylan or anyone battle with him, he's an absolute pit bull. So, you know, he's one of the toughest guys to pass. He's also, once you pass him, you got to go, because he'll get you right back and he'll race you hard. And he'll smile and hang out with you afterwards, but I mean, he's going to race you hard when he's out there, because he's there to win, and this is his job. So I appreciate that Tyler takes it so serious. Killed it. You know, he's like 36 years old. I say he's about 45, but he's actually only about 35 years old. Just seems to be getting better, so good for him, and he's going to be a threat all year round.
Yeah, and to touch on some of the things you mentioned there, we heard it right from the horse's mouth. Dylan Wright, who was that guy trying to get by him, he just said, yeah, like you said, tough guy to pass. Dylan was a good interview. If you watch some of our post-race interviews, both those guys are a lot of fun. Yep. But he was saying how the same thing. He knew he'd say one lap, and all of a sudden Tyler would know he was there, and he'd change his line, so he had a hard time getting by. So Dylan Wright, though, did go 1-1.
Yeah, Dylan Wright 1-1. I'm not saying to be expected, but definitely not a surprise. I mean, the guy's ready. He's got great bikes, GDRs, always ready. You know, on that Honda platform, it's the second year for that bike too, so I'm sure they've got some different settings and a bit more time on it in total. So, I mean, honestly, fully expected him to be up there, and 1-1 is not a surprise to me at all.
All right, well, hey, that is our quick wrap up here of the of round one here in Kamloops. Now we go to a track that pretty much nobody really knows much about, except, like we mentioned, Keelan Messa, number 10. So gonna have a long week. Greg, you're heading home. We'll be seeing you when we get back east.
Yes.
But now the rest of us are gonna make our way over to Alberta for a track that a lot of us are interested to see. So this has been the FXR, our race review. So thank you very much for watching, and check us out next week.